and welcome back to the mess. So something which I've had sat in a box for a while is this set of pods. Now these are Thurlby or RS components, logic analyzer pods. So you've got all your test clips here. Now I wasn't actually sure what these were off. I just picked them up because I like wires. So I've actually had a little look to work out what these come off, and what they come off is one of these. So this is a Thurlby LA160. This is the B model, which has got a different RS stock code. So I think they were sold over here in the UK by RS Components, and this one is a type B. I don't know if you can see that. B, and the B is the 20 megahertz version, and the A is the 10 megahertz version. Now I have absolutely no idea how you use this or really what it does. This particular one has come with the expansion module, which is this fella, and this one, this is the LE32. So this increases the number of channels that you get from, I think, 15 or 16 up to 32. It's got a bit more memory. It drops, I think it halves the rate down. So I think this one would do 10 megahertz, and obviously the 10 megahertz one would do 5 megahertz. And this basically sits underneath this, and it's connected with a couple of dainty screws, and these three plug into the front three connectors here, into the control data 15 to 8, 0 to 7. So it's got 16, 0 to 15. And then at the back you've got your auxiliary outputs, which this has a connector in for here, which plugs into it, but then it also repeats the auxiliary output on there, and that's a serial port, although I think it's wired slightly different, which you can then run some PC software. Well, it's probably like Windows 95 or DOS, and control this, or at least read the outputs. Yeah, you've got some oscilloscope outputs for the trigger, the verticals. Now, I haven't tried plugging this in yet, and the base of this has a nice note: please do not drop. And so that says that on the 1st of the 5th, 91, damaged MTX removed, fractured lead outs cleaned, extended, repaired, blah blah blah. So it's clearly had quite a bit of work. Check the battery, 2.45 volts. Now they've got a battery in them, so this was checked in 91. These batteries can leak, so there's a possibility that it's leaked. Additional padding fixed to the top of the MTX, so it looks like the transformer has come off or something, thus the please don't drop. But yeah, so service, so it was serviced by Thurlby on the 29th of the 10th, 1990. Yeah, so let's pop the cover off and have a look at what we can see. So it's already got the two screws, which would normally go all the way through, removed. So that's what holds the expansion in. So it's only got two screws in here. So let's pop them in. Probably quite long as well. Okay. And then, yeah. Which way? Well, that's coming off. Ugh. Okay. Right. Well, I can certainly see where the transformer's been reworked. So you can see here. Now, most of that is just flux residue. It's got a little bodge wire across here, presumably when the traces have gone. See some more work. And there, what's that? Is that a wire? That is a wire, absolutely tiny wire running between there. There's that. That looks okay, but nothing disastrous there. I'll just clean that up a bit better. Oop. Okay. And the sides are separate pieces. Right. Okay. So there's the battery, and there is no leaking at all from that battery. Although I don't know if that's a date code. SA97 might it have been replaced? Does look like there's a bit of corrosion. Yeah, and maybe on the underside, can't quite see. So maybe it did leak and it's been replaced. That is the foam that has been added to the top of the transformer. Is that a big hunk of metal? I don't know if that was there normally. It's just so that the case fits on there. So it must have clean separated off the board when someone dropped it. That I'm guessing here is the expansion ROM. So that adds the extra features to it, one of which is the support for the 32 channel expansion. What are the date codes that we've got? Date codes 84, 28th week, 84, 17th week. Oh, we've got a little sticker at the back, WT 12th of the 2nd, 86. So sometime in February 86. Possibly, unless that's a service sticker on it, because most of these are from 84. Yeah, all the chips here from 84, the latest. Okay, well there's nothing terrible. Fuse is alright. That's a big old cap. I could try and reform it, or I could just plug it in and see if it goes bang. I think we should perhaps do that. Does that come off? Oop, yeah. Yep. So then I can just drop that back in. Oh no, hang on, that's the lid. That's the bottom. The other way around. No, that's kind of interesting. Is that the same on the top as well? Yeah, these are both exactly the same, so it doesn't actually matter which way around you put it. Entirely sure about the front here. It's kind of bubbled up. I don't know whether that's whether it's gonna affect it. This is, yeah, whether these still work. I don't know if you can control these with the serial port or whether you need to use ones at the back. Anyway, right, what have we got? We've got an on-off switch there. It's in the off position. It also has a secondary fuse. Put those there like that. And then let's borrow some power. Okay, are we ready? Ooh, we have lights. And we have set type. Which is great because I have no idea. Single. Ready. Okay. Right, well that was uneventful. Okay, so I'll give it a little clean anyway. I'll try and get rid of some of the flux on the bottom of that transformer there. And then I'm going to try and work out how on earth you use this. Right, I'll be back. See if we can get some of this clean. Clean. Much better. Let's have a quick look at what's in this. Probably a lot. Not much. Some resistor packs. Some 74 LS 374s. 7400s. Let's pause this and I'll have a brief go over what I think's happening. So the 74 LS 374 is a latch chip, so it's a series of flip-flops. So what I think's happening here, because it's so basic, is we've just got those latches being set with the full 32 channels that it's looking at, and then the 00 chips, so the NANDs, are probably working as a kind of bank select. So that's why it's halving, because it's doing one cycle reading the first half of data off
the flip-flops, and then it's cycling back through again, reading the second half. So that whole device is just really a buffer to capture all the 32 channels, and then the main device just does 2 passes to read them. So fairly basic bit of kit.
Yeah, so not a lot. Oh, there you go. So there's a switch there for 20 megahertz. So that's the only switch. Single-sided board. Right. Guess this probably wasn't cheap. There's almost nothing in it. Right. Okay, but it all looks fine anyway. Got no reason to believe that that's not going to work. Although I don't think I haven't got any anything that I can actually connect to that front panel with. But yeah, anyway, I'll try and work out how to get the main thing working first anyway, before I think about 32 channels. Right. Pod A. Pod B. And pod C. So now I guess I'm ready to analyze. But I have no idea what I'm doing. There's a whole load of clips. So these pods at least show, so pod A and B have got the data lines from 0 to 15 on them. And pod C has got what appear to be the triggers and the clocks. So I'll have a look, try and work out how I can test something on it, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm not sure this is working. I say not sure because I'm still not entirely certain I know what's going on, but one thing this has got is a monitor mode. So if we do shift 1 for the top and monitor, it should then show us all of the inputs. And you got obviously a mixed one here. So if we go into binary, then we've got here the 16 inputs and they're all high. They're default high. And we've got the ground. So if we ground one of them, I'd expect to see one of those drop down. And it doesn't, and it's the same on both the pods. So I don't think I've got like an issue with a pod. We're going to skip back out of that, go back in to monitor with it grounded, and they're all still high. It could be I'm doing something completely wrong, but I've factory reset it as well just to make sure that it's running all the defaults. But I can't seem to get these to change. I've got internal clock, so I might have to try and see if there's some diagnostics. There's a repair manual, service manual somewhere, so I'll have a little look at that and dig it out and see. But yeah, I thought at a very basic level I should just be able to see the inputs, but that's not working. All right. Okay, so I've done nothing really. So I thought I'll check by actually hooking it up to a little circuit. And actually the only thing here, you can ignore the top half there, but that's just a little 7400. So we've got that connected up with the 2 inputs there being held high, which means the output should be low. And then we've got this clipped in, and turn this on to monitor, and we can see right here it's picking it up. The output's low. And also, one of the ones that I'd left before, grounded to itself, is also being picked up as low. So there you go, high, low. So I'm not entirely sure. So I've done nothing really to this, apart from it's been left for a bit and then it's been powered back on again. So it could be that I've got a heat issue. So I'll leave it powered on for a bit. I can't remember whether I had the triggered and the armed lights on. I might have to look back and see whether I had triggered and armed, although you can't actually see, you can only see the triggered one there from that angle. That's the clock, that's the internal clock, that little light there. But that's now working. So I'll let it get hot. If I do say an issue where it stops working when it gets hot, obviously, well, we might get the thermal camera out, see whether we can see whether anything in particular is overheating. It could just be that it's the caps, and then they've sort of like woken up a bit and reformed. They probably want replacing, but yeah, it's working. So yeah, maybe I'll try and work out how to do something a little bit more complex than just stick it into monitor mode. Right. Delving into it a little bit more. So this is the top board with the CPU and the display on. And that battery, as I thought, has definitely been replaced. We can see sort of the same excess of flux over here. Doesn't look too bad. These have all been touched up as well. But it definitely needs swapping out. There doesn't seem to be any other really noticeable issues. Look at the SRAM here, which we've got it in these adapter sockets, which look rather funky. The only thing is down here, this 74390 is quite heavily corroded. I don't know if you can see there, but it's yeah, that's not in a good way. So I might just clean that up, perhaps refresh the solder on it. The caps, none of the caps seem to be leaky. They're all pretty old, so they could probably do with swapping out. So I might order a set of caps and just refresh the electrolytics. The voltages do actually seem all right, so it's producing a relatively good stable 5 volt. So there's nothing horrific, but obviously if it's shouldn't really do any harm getting those swapped. So I'll see what I've got in the shelf. Pretty sure I haven't got anything as big as a 10,000 for that, or I think I have. I think I've got bigger, but I haven't got a 10,000. And yeah, I'll clean that up. I'll probably get a new battery on order as well. And we'll just give it a little bit of a refresh. But yeah, all in all, it looks all right, I think. So I've tested it again for a while. It seems to be stable. So it could well be that it was charging this battery up. I mean, it's still only at about 1.5 volts rather than 2.4. But maybe that was causing something to stay a bit lower than it should be. And now that it's starting to get up closer to the 2 volt range, something's kicked back into life. But it does seem stable now. It seems to be working. So I'm not going to do too much. I'm going to clean that up, give it a little bit of a refresh, and we'll get that replaced. Pulled the chip out here and managed to clean it up. It was a right mess. I'm surprised it's cleaned up this well, to be honest. And I've cleaned the chip up as well. That's needed. Bit of sandpaper, and you don't normally use the fiberglass pen wasn't enough. The traces here between the through holes are real close, so I'm actually going to put some solder mask on that. Add that, and I'll pop a bit of solder mask on. One moment. All back, so that's been socketed. I've recapped the board all apart from this big fella, which I haven't got. Done the second board as well. There's only a couple on it, well, 3. But right, let's pop it all back together again. See if it still works. Yeah, all back together. So for now, I've just built a little battery pack out of a couple of small nickel metal hydrides. So they're connected up. In theory, that's probably fine, but I might replace it with one of the correct batteries that go in it. And one thing which I have done is right at the back, underneath the power supply here, there's a little pot. So I've tuned that in to try and get it closer. It was running about 5.1 volts, so I've knocked it back down to about 5 volts on here. So that should be fine. It seems to be working. So I'm going to finish putting that back together and call this one done. Still need to learn how to use it properly, but even just in monitor mode, that's quite useful. But I'll do a little bit of reading of the very limited manual that it comes with, and see if I can actually work out how you can do some interesting stuff with it. I might have a little go with the 32 channel adapter as well, but I haven't got any compatible pods with it. But no, should be relatively handy. It's not as powerful as the other the Digilant kit that I've got, but it's just handy to have something that's sort of physical, doesn't need a laptop. There is some software that someone's rewritten that I think allows you to pull the values off over the serial port onto a modern operating system that's not DOS. So I might give that a little go as well. But nope, for now, happy with that. I'll get it put back together. Right, I'm going to leave it at that for this video. Back up and working. Everything seems all right. But for now, that's working. I've done a little bits of repairs, done a little bit of servicing on it. I might replace the big cap, I might not. But no, thanks for watching.